Breaking, NCP returns to Tonse Alliance under Lubinda. In Zambian politics, exits are rarely permanent, and today proves it. Lubinda's Tonse Alliance has officially readmitted the National Congress Party, reversing a political separation that once seemed final. Is this reconciliation born out of strategy, necessity, or desperation ahead of 2026? And what does this move signal for Zambia's fragmented opposition? Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, what a week it's been in Zambian politics. Just when you think you've seen it all, something comes along that completely reshapes the landscape. And today, we have a story that has sent shockwaves through the corridors of power. Breaking, the National Convention Party has returned to the Tonse Alliance under the leadership of Given Lubinda. Picture this, a political alliance that once seemed fractured beyond repair. Relationships shattered by accusations, mistrust, and the bitter taste of betrayal. The corridors of State House echoing with whispers of defection, loyalty questioned, and futures uncertain. But what drives a party to return to an alliance it once abandoned? What backroom negotiations, what midnight phone calls, what promises exchanged in hushed tones could bring about such a dramatic reversal? Was this reconciliation born out of genuine political realignment, or are we witnessing a calculated chess move in the grand game of Zambian politics? And perhaps most intriguingly, what does Given Lubinda know that we don't? What strategic advantage has he identified that would compel him to lead his party back into the very alliance they had distanced themselves from? Is this the beginning of a formidable opposition coalition that could challenge the ruling establishment, or are we about to witness another chapter of political theater that will unravel before our very eyes? The stakes have never been higher. The implications, never more profound. Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light earlier this week when sources close to the Tonse Alliance confirmed that the National Convention Party had formally rejoined the coalition under the stewardship of Given Lubinda, the former Minister of Justice and longtime political heavyweight. To understand the magnitude of this development, we must rewind to the formation of the Tonse Alliance itself. The alliance was originally conceived as a broad opposition front. A coalition of political parties united by a common purpose, to provide an alternative voice to the ruling United Party for National Development. The NCP, under various leadership configurations, had been part of opposition collaborations before, but internal divisions and leadership disputes had consistently undermined these efforts. Given Lubinda, once a senior figure in the Patriotic Front government, found himself navigating the turbulent waters of opposition politics after the PF's defeat in the 2021 general elections. His move to the NCP was seen by many political observers as an attempt to rebuild his political capital and establish a new power base. The initial signs of rapprochement emerged in mid-January 2026, when Lubinda was spotted at a private dinner with key Tonse Alliance figures in Lusaka. At the time, spokespeople dismissed it as informal dialogue, but sources now reveal those meetings were far more substantive. By the third week of January, formal negotiations had begun. The NCP's National Executive Committee convened emergency sessions. Internal party documents seen by our team show heated debates about the wisdom of rejoining an alliance that some members viewed with skepticism. Then, on January 25, 2026, the announcement came through an official statement released simultaneously by both the NCP and the Tonse Alliance Secretariat. The National Convention Party was back in the fold, with Given Lubinda serving as one of the alliance's senior strategists. Direct evidence, quotes and testimony. Given Lubinda addressed party supporters shortly after the announcement, and his words carried the weight of both justification and vision. My fellow Zambians, today marks not a return, but a renewal. The National Convention Party has always stood for the empowerment of ordinary citizens, for accountability in governance, and for a Zambia that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. He continued, his voice rising with conviction. Some will ask, why now? Why this alliance? And I say to you, because the times demand it. We cannot afford to stand divided when the challenges facing our nation require unity of purpose. This is not about political expediency. This is about putting Zambia first. When pressed by journalists about previous disagreements with some Tonse Alliance members, Lubinda was candid. "Look, politics is not a tea party. We've had our differences, yes. Strong differences. But what separates the statesman from the politicians is the ability to put aside personal grievances when the national interest is at stake." So, yes, there were tough conversations. There were moments where trust had to be rebuilt brick by brick. A reporter asked, "Mr. Lubinda, critics say this move is motivated by your own political survival rather than principle. How do you respond?" Lubinda paused, choosing his words carefully. Political survival? Every politician seeks to remain relevant, that's no secret. But relevance without purpose is vanity. The question you should be asking is, what am I surviving for? And the answer is simple. I'm surviving to fight for the Zambia I believe in. If that makes me ambitious, so be it. Alliance spokesperson Martha Mushipe welcomed the NCP's return with equal enthusiasm. The Tonse Alliance has always been about bringing together diverse voices with a shared commitment to democratic governance and social justice. Mr. Lubinda brings experience, strategic acumen, and a proven track record of leadership. His party's return strengthens our hand considerably. When asked about the specific terms of the NCP's reintegration, Mushipe stated, "The Memorandum of Understanding we've signed ensures equal representation in alliance structures. The NCP will have seats on our strategy committee, our policy forums, and our campaign structures. This is a partnership of equals, not a merger, and certainly not a takeover." However, not everyone within the alliance circles is celebrating. A mid-level official, speaking on condition of anonymity, expressed reservations. Don't get me wrong, Lubinda is a political heavyweight. But he comes with baggage. His time in the PF government raises questions. Can we trust that he's genuinely committed to opposition politics, or is this a strategic positioning for when the tides turn again? These are questions we need to answer. Deeper analysis, implications and reactions. This development has sent ripples through Zambia's political ecosystem, and the reactions have been as varied as they are telling. From the ruling UPND, there's been a studied silence, perhaps the most revealing response of all. Political analysts suggest the government is carefully calibrating its reaction, unwilling to either dismiss the alliance as inconsequential or elevate it by treating it as a genuine threat. Dr. Kalufia Mwansa, a political scientist at the University of Zambia, offered this perspective. What we're seeing is the maturation of opposition politics in Zambia. For too long, opposition parties have been fragmented, ego-driven, and strategically incoherent. If Lubinda can bring organizational discipline and the NCP's grassroots network into the Tonse Alliance, this becomes a formidable force. The question is whether they can maintain cohesion beyond press conferences and joint statements. The Patriotic Front, Lubinda's former political home, issued a terse statement expressing disappointment but stopping short of outright condemnation. Insiders suggest some PF members view this as a betrayal, while others see it as a pragmatic acknowledgement that the PF's brand may be too damaged for effective opposition politics. Legal scholars have raised interesting procedural questions. Under Zambian electoral law, political alliances operate under specific regulations regarding candidate selection, resource sharing, and ballot representation. The Tonse Alliance will need to navigate these requirements carefully as the 2026 elections approach. There's also the ethical dimension. Given Lubinda served in a government that faced serious allegations of corruption and governance failures, his ability to credibly critique the current administration while defending his own record presents a delicate balancing act. Opposition blogger and commentator Joseph Kalimbwe wrote, "Lubinda is betting that Zambians have short memories. But the internet remembers. The records are there. If the Tonse Alliance is serious about being an alternative, they need to address this elephant in the room. You can't fight corruption with compromised credentials." Yet others see redemption narratives as central to democratic politics. Political rehabilitation, they argue, is not only possible but necessary for a functioning democracy. What remains unresolved is the alliance's actual policy platform. Unity against a common opponent is one thing, presenting a coherent, alternative vision for governance is quite another. So far, the Tonse Alliance has been stronger on criticism than on concrete proposals. The 2026 electoral landscape is still taking shape, and this latest development adds another layer of complexity. Will other opposition parties join the Tonse Alliance? Will the ruling UPND adjust its strategies in response? Can given Lubinda translate his individual political prowess into collective alliance success? These questions hang in the air, unanswered but urgent. And there you have it, viewers. The National Convention Party has returned to the Tonse Alliance under given Lubinda's leadership, a development that reshapes the opposition landscape and raises profound questions about Zambia's political future. Thank you so much for watching this edition of InspirAfrica Official. This is exactly the kind of story that demands your input. What do you think about this political reunion? Is given Lubinda a strategic asset or a liability for the opposition? Can the Tonse Alliance present a credible alternative to the ruling party? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation about where Zambian politics is heading. We'll be back tomorrow with more analysis, more insights, and more of the stories that matter to you. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired. This is Nakash, signing off.